So, as you know, part of our product idea accelerator, we launched our webinar programs, and we are taking greatest, best speakers that have greatest experience in certain fields. And I guess there is no one knows more about crowdfunding than the person that works in crowdfunding, actually. So, meet Pascal. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I guess we can see it. Okay, so please tell us about yourself and about the company you're working.
So thanks for being so many tonight. Really happy to be here. So to give just a little bit of background of what I've done, my background originally is in biology. I worked for 7 years in molecular biology in research in France and in the US. Before coming back to France and working for a little biotech company that didn't work out. So I was like, okay, time to change and do something new. Launched a web marketing agency that I had in the center of France for 7 years. Did also some e-commerce around para-veterinarian products for dog, cats, and horses. But it was very interesting because I got to discover what logistic means and how complicated it can be to manage once you have sold your product, to have to deal with the shipping and everything was quite challenging. And then about 4 years ago, moved to Paris, at the beginning helping startups with their marketing strategy going toward the US. And within that, I was at CES 2.5 years ago and met with the Indiegogo team. They were looking at having someone in France to keep an eye on what's happening because it's very dynamic. And I was like, me, that's how I got the job. So I joined Indiegogo about 2 years ago. My job at Indiegogo is actually meeting startups, presenting the platform, and onboarding them on the platform. It's a lot of coaching and advising, helping for the preparation of the campaign and the follow-up during the campaign.
Okay, so lots of people are going to start their crowdfunding campaigns. So let's start discussing that. What are the main points of good crowdfunding campaign and preparation process?
For me, there are three major points that makes a crowdfunding campaign successful. Running a crowdfunding campaign is all about marketing. If you are good at marketing, the campaign will work. After, it's all also about preparation, where you don't rush a campaign. You prepare it in several months ahead because you need to have a community that you are going to be able to leverage at the launch of the campaign. And this community you don't get it in a few days. It's several weeks and months of work. So community is really one of the big factors of success of a campaign. And third one is also about execution, where you need to have a marketing strategy and a marketing plan on all the different steps and actions you're going to do for the campaign, and with the timeline on each of them. That would be my advice.
Okay, so you said that marketing is really important.
Yeah.
How about product?
But the funny part is I've followed so many campaigns lately where they had an amazing product but weren't able to do as great as they should have done because marketing wasn't correctly done. The message wasn't that good and probably not the right message to the right audience.
So, like, great product with good marketing will get lots of money on Indiegogo.
Yep.
And
well, it's not only Indiegogo. I mean, it's it's a general way on any crowdfunding platform, and yes, on Indiegogo, it's really about marketing, or if you are good at marketing, it will work because you are going to get people excited about your product, and it's what you got to have.
Is there a chance that great product will do everything yourself, by itself?
I would say it's same chance than winning the lottery. Yes, potentially it will, because somehow you'll have like a person with a huge community that is going to get excited about the product and is going to be the one that creates a momentum. But that happens 1 out of a million, so I wouldn't bet on my chances on that.
Okay, so let's say we have product, and we say that we need community. How we should do that? How we can find this community?
That's the tricky part of building a community, because it's not only acquiring leads, like for example running ads about your product and bringing all this traffic on a landing page where you are gonna collect leads, people leaving the emails. You need to also keep this community and these leads engaged and excited about the upcoming product, and that's always the tricky part, because you are so focused on the development of the product. You're like, I want to have my prototype and everything ready for the launch, but you forget that community goes along with that, and it's not when the prototype is ready that you need to start building community. It's way ahead, because when you are gonna have the prototype ready for the crowdfunding campaign, your community is not built, so it's gonna take an extra 6 months now to build the community, because you don't do it just in one day overnight. So that's why building the community, you start it as soon as possible by potentially running ads and doing some teaser around the product. You don't need to show the product. It's just being clever in which message you are going to use in getting people excited about the product, and which feature is making your product so wow that you want to get it when it's available. But it's also like being at events and collecting business card. If you're an exhibitor and you collect business cards, or if it's like a general conference where it's going to be like more like a broader audience, just have a tablet or even just a paper where people can leave manually their email address. Always think about collecting email address of people who they bother to stop at your booth to know more about your product. That means they're interested. Get their email address.
Okay, so you said ads, then teaser, then conferences.
Yeah.
Are there any other ways we can build community?
Before the launch, it's I would say the main ones. Going to events, even if you are not an exhibitor, but just attending and getting more and more people to know about what's coming. It's just increasing your network. So potentially use social media, even if you are not running ads, but it's the same. I'm saying leads and mostly emails, because when you launch a crowdfunding campaign, you're gonna do an emailing, and emailing it's what works best at converting. Like we've seen that usually emailing converts 20% to 30% higher than social media. And knowing that on a targeted email list, the conversion rate at the launch of the campaign is about 5%. That's not really high. So that's why you need to have a big email list of people, because for several reasons you're going to only have a 5% conversion rate. Like people, they left their email address because they were interested, but maybe at the launch they got another product, or they don't have the funds, or like there are plenty of reasons why they are not going to contribute even if they were interested in the product. So that's why you need to have the largest email list possible. So like, let's say you have 2,000, which is for me really the minimum you need to have. 5% conversion rate makes it 100 backers. So 100 backers multiplied by the early bird price of the reward gives you an idea of how much money you can expect to raise within 48 hours.
Okay, so that's actually the first secret. So we should have email base, and we should understand how much we should raise, and we have this 5% conversion rate. So we'll get the number that we'll raise through the campaign or first days.
No, it's usually the 5%. The calculation with the 5% conversion rate multiplied by the early bird price give you an idea of how much money you can expect within 48 hours. But within these 48 hours, you need to reach 30% of the goal. Because a campaign that doesn't have enough momentum from the start doesn't bring enough trust that even if you are going to spend budget ads to bring people to the page of the campaign, if there is not enough traction, you are wasting your money because you are bringing people to a page that doesn't have enough traction. So people arrive and see that the page is funded at 10, 15, 20%. It's not really engaging when you don't really know the product to support the campaign.
Are there any ways to to improve the product before you actually launch the product to the crowdfunding and see that it's not converting like we are dreaming about?
Yeah, for me, 2 points. That's the reason why you don't rush the launch of a crowdfunding campaign, because if you don't have the community, don't rush. It's not going to work and you're going to waste time and money on something that is going to fail. And second thing is do testing. A/B testing, for me, that's the secret of the marketing. In try several emailings and see which one convert best by changing the subject, the content, and stuff like that. You need to do a lot of A/B testing. Same with ads. When you're going to run ads on Facebook, you're going to try different images, different messages. Videos convert best. We've seen on when you run video ads, you have a better conversion rate also. So it's all about preparation on having the best message, the best content in order to appeal to the community.
Okay, so you get video teaser, then we need a video for advertisement, and also we need video for actual launch. So we should have like a great video team, or we should how much money should we spend on the video, because you are talking a lot about videos.
Yeah, the video is important because that's the first content people look at when they arrive on the page of the campaign, because you have the title, but you have the video. That's really the first thing. So before even scrolling down to have more details and looking at the story of about the project or even the price of the reward, they click on the video to know what's about. And the video, you need to catch your audience within the first 10 seconds of the video. So that's why it's very important to have a great selling video. The video for me needs to be more about the product and how you can use it, and it's going to make your life easier than the project itself on why you got there, if it makes sense. It's when you watch a commercial on TV. It's if the commercial is fun and attractive, you're going to watch it. If not, you're going to change channel. And so it needs to be exactly the same idea, where it's about the product and user case.
How about PR? I know that some campaigns, they're launching their crowdfunding campaigns just to have more PR, not just to raise money.
I'm sure I'm going to make some enemies here, but PR for me is always a tricky question. PR for me should be, it rarely converts in backers, if it makes sense. It brings trust to the campaign because you get media talking about your product and your crowdfunding campaign, but it doesn't automatically convert in backers behind. So at the end, basing a crowdfunding campaign on PR being a strong element, I wouldn't recommend.
Okay.
I think you need to have to do it because it brings trust, and it's always nice on a page of the campaign when you arrive and you see that you got coverage in a lot of media. It gives credibility to the project, but expecting that it's going to make you it's going to bring you more backers and explode the goal.
So how much time actually we should spend preparing our project for the launch? Is it like 1 month or 6 months?
1 month. I mean, it depends where you're at. For me, as soon as you think that at some point you'll do crowdfunding, it's the time you start at least building the community, because like I said, it's a long process. And you don't build a community just for a crowdfunding campaign. A community is something that you build and that is going to follow you on the long run, on the long term. So it's important to start as early as possible. After, it depends on what you mean by preparing. Is it like just the marketing? Is it just like the content? I would say at least to prepare a campaign, if you don't want to spend too much time and energy by rushing it and being stressed. And because running a crowdfunding campaign, we have people here who have done it. It creates stress and a lot of pressure in a structure, more importantly in a small structure, because usually you have all the team going behind it, and it takes a lot of time and resources. So if you don't want or to limit too much stress on the company, I would say take more time to prepare it and to be sure that you don't rush it at the end. You're like, oh, we don't have the video, and the video is ready 2 days before the launch or even the day before. So preparation.
So when this moment should happen? Okay, we are ready to launch the campaign. What should be done for sure, to let this decision, approve this date of launch?
Good question. Several informations. First, you need to launch the campaign when you are ready, and when you think that with your community you can you'll be able to reach your internal goal. You also need to be ready in terms of having tested all your marketing content and things like that. Then there is also potentially a seasoning issue depending on what's your product. Like, for example, I wouldn't crowdfund a winter product during summer and the other way around. Even if the product is going to be available later on, people don't automatically project themselves very far. So selling something for winter during July or August might not be the right time. For what we've seen is you have really one period that is not automatically the best time to run a campaign, which is from end of November till middle of January, because it's Christmas time. So usually people spend their money on presents for Christmas and
Black Friday.
Yeah, and past Christmas, people are broke from Christmas. So you have this time frame where it's not automatically the best time, and also you launch your campaign beginning of the week, for example. You don't launch toward the end, because since you're going to use emailing to get the initial momentum for the launch of the campaign, if you launch it at the end of the week, the opening rate for emails is usually lower than beginning of the week.
Okay, so we have 2,000 emails. We launched 10,000. Okay, 10,000 emails. We launched our campaign on Tuesday. Media write about us. Everything is going well. We achieved our goal. What we should do next?
You really want all of the informations. That's after the tricky part of keeping the momentum for the campaign, because usually when you look at contribution for a crowdfunding campaign, it's U-shaped. You have a very strong start, so it's high, and then because you are going to run a campaign for 30 to 40 days, during the middle of the campaign, difficult to keep community engaged. So what you will do is potentially use PR, even if it's not going to automatically bring more backers, but bring more trust to the page of the campaign, and you can update your initial backers. You have plenty of strategies to continue to get momentum for the campaign. Obviously ads, running ads for the product, but also retargeting the people who came but didn't contribute to do that. Trying to think what are the other
There are
thing.
definitely some secrets.
Yes.
You need to tell us.
I think the what we've seen is usually running ads. That's really the big thing, that spending ads budget to bring new backers to the page of the campaign. But you can also do cross promotion in between campaigns. I mean, you have plenty of
Cross promotions. What else?
like that. Can't remember anything more, but yeah, I would say that it's ads. That would be the biggie.
$1 million campaigns. They raise so much money because of the ads, PR, and the promotions, or anything else is there?
For what I've seen on the $1 million campaign, usually the ads budget is really high,
Okay. How high? Like
about 20%, I would say.
20%.
Yeah.
Like, so to get $1 million campaign, we need to have $200,000 ad budget.
Yeah, for the one I've seen, I don't have that many $1 million campaigns, so it's not things that are like on a day-to-day life. So
Interesting. How about, I know that you have a huge email base as an Indiegogo. So, and I know that you feature some projects and campaigns. So how should we just write you, or what we should do to get there?
yes, first you can write me. I love when
Okay,
people
so
write to me.
you need to take his business cards and write him when you're launching the campaign.
Pascal@indiegogo.com. It's easy. But yeah, the idea behind promotions done by Indiegogo is we are not here to start your campaign. So Indiegogo doesn't promote campaigns that don't have momentum for several reasons. First, means potentially you don't have community or your product is not interesting. But so we usually start to promote campaigns that have passed the 30% threshold, and obviously the more the campaign, when the campaign is featured, for example, in one of our newsletter, which is usually converts pretty well. If you have, again, the good marketing message, in like the title is good and the image in the newsletter is appealing, you get a good boost for that, and if it converts well, obviously Indiegogo is more inclined to push you more, because the more you succeed, the more Indiegogo, the better it is for Indiegogo.
Okay, so you said that like 30-40 days is a good amount of time to have a campaign.
Yep.
And we need to engage our backers somehow.
Yeah.
And lots of campaigns started making these stretch goals. Is it like a good way to entertain people? And
If it's clever, I would say it needs also to do it to be done right. A stretch goal that is not really interesting shouldn't be done. A cool thing that potentially you can do is, for example, having accessories. Like I don't know, you have a product with a battery that potentially you could change, and having offering on Indiegogo, you can have secret perks. So potentially offering to your backers, sending them a secret perk for an extra battery. Like it's a little bit like the gum at the cashier when you go to the supermarket. Like it's just having them support you even more than what they have done already, because they like you, they supported you once. So potentially, if you give them a good deal, they'll even go further. But you can also run like a referral contest where the backers who have already supported you and who are going to share the campaign and bring you new backers, you can reward them.
So referrals are working.
It depends how it's done.
Are there any like good examples where referrals like brought
I haven't worked
$100,000?
I haven't worked with any campaigns that have done a referral contest, but I know that some have done it. It will depend. Once again, it's all about marketing, so
Okay.
it depends on how you make it and how interesting it's gonna be for the people to really want to engage themselves in a referral contest.
I know there are many companies that provide extra services to boost your campaign. What should we use and what we should not use?
Yes, you have. I think I'm not gonna make any judgment on that.
Just type of services, not name of company.
Yeah, but potentially it could be interesting because if you have a good product and a good marketing, it's just opening to a new audience that potentially you wouldn't be able to reach. So yes, some campaigns have used used and it didn't work. Some used it and it really brought a new audience and new backers. So I would say that's hard to give like a hard yes or a hard no on should you use it. I think it's case per case.
How about organics?
What do you mean?
Is there any organic growth of the project once you launched it on Indiegogo?
You mean like just the organic traffic coming from the platform? You do. I don't have the exact number, but if I look at the different campaigns I've been following over the past year, usually the amount of funds brought by the platform, but includes also like promotional thing, but it's about 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
Indiegogo to
I would say yes.
organically.
Yeah.
So you said that beginning of the week is a good time to start.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a good time to end the campaign?
Same beginning of the week for the same reason, because at the end of the campaign you are again engage your community to be sure that the one who didn't contribute, you give them a last chance to do so, and because you are going to send an email, you need to have it at the beginning of the week to have a better opening rate.
Okay. So yeah, the main question: why Indiegogo, not
The question that I hear at least almost once a day, but it's you have several reasons to start with Indiegogo global platform, so you can run your campaign from anywhere in the world. You don't need to open a structure in another country. You can run your campaign in euros or dollar or pound. And I think the strength of Indiegogo is first its support. Indiegogo has a very strong support team. When you want to run a campaign on Indiegogo, you just have to contact Indiegogo and you'll get a campaign manager to help you with your campaign. And we are pretty responsive. At least we usually answer 2 emails within 24 to 48 hours, which is quite fast when considering how many emails we have to deal with. Support promotion also, because we try to promote the campaigns we help. The second, and for me the most important one, is I think Indiegogo has the best marketing platform, marketing tools for the platform. Of course, I'm biased, but Indiegogo has so many tools, like to be able to have the pixel retargeting to bring back people on the page of the campaign, integrated in the platform, to have secret perks to be able to retarget. For example, you can use a secret perk where you bring people with ads, and and if they don't convert, you can retarget them with a secret perk with a better offer, for example. Like to bring them back on the page. Secret perk for few months now. We have also we have had for few months already the pre-launch page, where on Indiegogo you can have your pre-launch page to collect leads. If you don't want to have it on your website for several reasons, or you can have both. It doesn't hurt, but you bring traffic on this pre-launch page, and we've had it in pilot since end of the first quarter, where now on this pre-launch page, few days before the launch, you can have one perk available, allowing you to do a soft launch like that. On the day of the launch, you don't start from zero, you already have momentum of the page of the campaign. So this soft launch allows you to that you can use for your close community, like your friends and family and your close network. I wouldn't use it for the big community. I would use this big email list of 10,000 once you've launched the campaign. But there is already momentum on the page of the campaign.
Okay, again, so you made this service, but we shouldn't use it for getting email. You said that's this pre-launch page.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need website. We can do the pre-launch page.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can get our leads there, and the conversion rate should be better than emails. Right?
No. When you will bring traffic to this pre-launch page with like ads or something like that. So it's just, instead of having a landing page on your website dedicated to the product, you just have it on Indiegogo, allowing you to collect leads. But that's the same thing. Conversion, I'm not sure it automatically affects the conversion rate when you are going to do an emailing at the launch of the campaign.
We also have other services like in demand, right?
Yeah, that's to go back to the differences. So you have the marketing, the fact that you have the flexible funding, allowing you to get the funds even if you don't reach your goal. And yes, Indiegogo has the full spectrum of sales with the crowdfunding, then being able to continue to get pre-orders while on in-demand until you have your product in stock, and then now go on to the marketplace, because we also have the marketplace on Indiegogo.
So should we use in-demand and marketplace, or?
The advantage of running the initial campaign on Indiegogo, you stay on the same structure fee, so it's also interesting in like staying on the 5% platform fee plus 3% third party for the transaction.
I know that you have even more services. Like equity crowdfunding. Should we thinking about this way of funding your business idea?
First, if you want to run an equity crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, you need to have a US structure, because it's for US company only, since it's with our partner in the US microventure, and it's submitted to US regulation. So you need to have a structure in the US. I would say it depends on it will depend on which type of company you have. I'm not sure equity automatically applies to every type of company.
You said that there are some companies that don't work with the equity crowdfunding. Are there any type of products that don't work with like normal crowdfunding?
It's good question. Let's say it the other way around. Usually, I think for me the crowdfunding reward base is the good solution for hardware product, because finding funds, VC, angels, doesn't matter which, like in finding investors to pay for your production, there is really few chances you'll be able to. So you use crowdfunding to show traction for your product and show also investors that you can get a community excited about your product and support you. So it's like the go-to-market strategy, but it works best for hardware startups. You can you can potentially run a crowdfunding campaign for a service or SaaS solution, but usually the amount of money raised is a lot lower. Also because usually backers want to get a physical product in exchange of backing a campaign. It's harder to get a community engaged behind a service or SaaS solution, because what's the reward you're gonna have? If it's to get a T-shirt or a cap, people don't really care.
Okay, so is there life after crowdfunding?
Of course there is. I mean, if you are a good company and you have an amazing product, we've seen companies running 2-3 campaigns for continuing the life of the company. It's just I think when you start your company, and I know you need to focus on one product, but you also need to have vision on okay, what's going to be next once I have that done. And it's not only for crowdfunding, it's just like vision for your company, and also investors like to see where you want to go, even if it's potentially what you won't go there because technology has changed or so for several reasons, but at least trying to think further than just the one product you have.
I know some cases that like people raise lots of money, and there is even I know Ukrainians that raise 1 million on Indiegogo. It's not really popular product, but they, like, I guess 5 years ago, and there is still no product. What's your take on that? And that's quite often people asking me, okay, if I'll not ship, will I have some problems? Or
you won't have any problem with Indiegogo in the way that we are just a platform, and once the funds are sent to the campaigner, there is not really anything we can really do. I think Indiegogo, that's why has really worked on that, and you have several reasons why the product 5 years later is still not sent to the backers. I think very often is the campaign was run too early. There is still too much R&D to do, and this money shouldn't go to R&D, should only go to production. If you are starting to spend money on R&D, you are going to burn the cash, and when it's time to produce, you won't have the cash anymore. So I think that was one of the big issues of all these big campaigns failing. Also potentially being too cheap on the reward, like spending, getting less money than the product actually cost to be made. And so, yes, you have $1 million campaign, but if you're losing money on every sales, okay, at the end doesn't really serve. Doesn't really serve. But and also, that's why I think Indiegogo partnered already now almost 3 years ago with Arrow Electronics, global-wise, to also help and do coaching for projects coming on the platform and looking at the feasibility of the project as well.
So you were talking about the pricing. Is there any strategy we should pursue? Like what type of discount should we have from retail price or from the units cost?
It always depend on your margin. Obviously, don't lose money, because at the end it doesn't really serve you. What we usually recommend is in between your retail price and the early bird is to do not have over 20% discount, and in between if you want to run the super early bird at the beginning of the campaign for limited quantity, to do not go an extra 20%. So
Okay.
maximum 40%, I would say.
So let's say we have a product.
Mm-hmm.
It's $100 to produce it and to send it. Like unit price is $100. So what should be our price?
After it also depends. I mean, that's the question is hard to answer because it also depends on competition. Is your competition selling it at 200? That means potentially you can go a little bit lower and do just 180, or is your competitor doing it at 150? And that means you need to do at 140. You know, like it's hard to answer this kind of question because it also depends on competitors. And for me, the game is really to also think about all the costs. You know, you have the shipping, but you also have the time of people who are gonna have to take care of that, and everything included, potentially marketing as well. You know, so that's hard to say.
Okay. So I guess it's also almost 45 minutes, and I'm pretty sure that you also have some questions, and I guess we can ask some questions. You can just raise your hand, and yeah, and we can ask any question. No questions? Do we have any questions, guys? Yeah, here's the first one. Yeah. Yeah, it's already there.
Hi. Working? Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Hi. I had a question for crowdfunding or like platforms. What's the most important thing in the video part? Basically, the main selling points after you had your listing created. Is it the video, or if it's the video, what is the main point? What is the main selling point, and how do you make it correctly?
For the video, I would say that it really needs to make in the video. Yeah, for me the video is really important, more than potentially the content of the rest of the page. Even if it's important, it's not what I'm saying. It's important, but the video for me is the most important one. And to have a great video, it needs to be inspiring. You know, like you watch the video and be like, I want to buy this product. Like for example, I have a campaigner who is going to run a campaign in September probably, and for a bag for dads who have a baby, and it's a bag just dedicated for dads. And I saw the video, and I don't have a kids, but I still wanted to buy. I wanted to buy the bags. It's what you need to get when you create the video, like to get people inspired. Even if they don't need the product, they want to get the product. I don't know if it really answers your question.
No, that's right.
Hello. I want to ask you about exit and acquisitions. How much successful crowdfunding campaigns could be acquired to buy some VC funds or companies, and what is the price average for such acquisitions?
I don't really have the number on like the companies that get either acquired by a bigger company or funded by VC. It's not a number that I have. I'm not sure we automatically have them at Indiegogo because we don't automatically know. I mean, we have so many campaigns passing through the platform that it's hard to keep track of everything happening.
Yeah, actually, there are some cases. I know Misfit. I think that they raised more than 1 million on Indiegogo, not Kickstarter, and they sold their company for $250 million. So yeah, there are some cases definitely.
Oh, there is this campaign called Canary, which was for a home security device, and because I don't remember, I think it was 350K they did on the platform, maybe a little bit higher, but more importantly, because they were able to show traction for the product. I think they raised 37 million after from VCs. So yes, you have some example. I have some examples, but I don't have the exact numbers on how many gets acquired or funded after a successful campaign.
Okay.
But it's after it's another question and another debate. But it's if you have a very successful campaign, usually raising funds behind it just because you want to go faster, but it doesn't automatically mean that it's necessary to go raise funds depending on how you manage your campaign and what you have next in the pipeline and in the distribution as well. Potentially you can just continue and being self-funded. It will only depend on what you want to do with your company and if you really need the funds to go faster. That's another question.
Yeah.
Hi Pascal, thanks for great interview and very useful information you shared with us. I have one question regarding to Arrow certified program. As far as you know, Arrow is the biggest distributor of electronic components. So I want to know how does they help startups and companies and how this system works. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So with Arrow, you will apply online. There is a form where you also have all the benefits of why applying to the Arrow certification. I know you get some discount on ordering electronic components from them. In terms of on Indiegogo, you also get promotion we have one newsletter, I don't remember which day it is, but that is featuring Arrow certified product. And also on the page of the campaign, you have the badge certified by Arrow, just bringing more trust. And you also enter in their flash funding. Flash funding they have, I think it's once every quarter or something like that, where they give money to one of the startups that has been Arrow certified. And the budget, if I well remember, is I think Arrow in flash funding puts one as a budget of $1 million a year.
$1 million.
Okay, thanks.
But if you want to have more info about Arrow, I can send you the link to have an idea of all the benefits. And the good thing about Arrow is they are present everywhere in every country, so it's always easy to find a representative of Indiegogo in your own country, of Arrow in your own country. So that's also cool stuff.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. Actually, Ola is coming. Actually, I have another question. So, you are working at Indiegogo.
Yes.
Do you want to launch your own Indiegogo campaign?
If I had the right product, yes, but for now I don't have a product to launch. So, but if not, I would, of course.
When companies make video for Indiegogo or for Kickstarter, they make it with regular script, with founders, with manufacturer or other thing. What do you think about that? Is it important to show founders and manufacturer, or we can make video emotional and advertising? Is it okay or not?
Yeah, for me, it's second option. Like, it needs to be emotion. The video needs to be more emotional. For me, the best video that I've seen are the one where people are like, it takes them by surprise. You know, like for example, on Indiegogo we had this campaign for Mousse, which is like iPhone case. And they had a great marketing strategy where the video where the guy going in front of the Apple store, there was this huge line for the new iPhone. And he was asking people to throw away the phone. And you see that it's like, oh, that's so fun. I would like to do it too. And they also had, I think, this video where they were in this construction zone from the 3rd or 4th floor, and there was a target on the floor, and you had to throw your iPhone protected by their case. But you know, like it's these very appealing videos where, of course, you are not going to throw your phone from 4th floor, but how many times do you get it on the floor? And so it's like appealing to people in their situation, in their day-to-day situation. Like I was saying earlier for the book, where you have the coffee that split on it, and I'm sure it happened even when you were a kid and you were doing your homework. How many times it happened? So just using the your product answers usually a need, or your product answers a need or a problem. So use that to make it your marketing strategy on appeal to people, because you are answering. Yes, the story about your company and we are young and we create that, and it's interesting, but I think I'm not sure it automatically has its place in the video. For me, the video needs to be about the product and how it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Hi, Pascal, my question is about price. If, for example, price of the product can be flexible depending on specs. For example, my product is e-bike, and if the e-bike can be lighter, the price will be higher. And but maybe some kilograms can save hundreds of dollars. What told that magic price is under 1,000 US dollars? How do you think, is it better to focus on quality or better to focus on price close to this magic price under 1,000?
For the price, you really see, I mean, the bigger the price, of course, the more challenging it is to convert into backers. And I think, if I well remember, if you look at all of over all the different campaigns on Indiegogo, the average amount for backing a campaign is around $150. The price, the average price spent per backers for campaigns is around 150. So when you start to go over 2, 3, 4, 5, and like close to the 1,000, starts to be complicated. So depending on the product, in your case, if you can still be the lightest bike, but with 1 kilo more, and gonna drop the price by 200, I would go for the kilo more and drop by 200.
Yeah, the next question, like many, this 99 cent. Should we use it on Indiegogo? $99 for this 101.
Yeah, you can do the $99, but of course, if it works in stores, it's going to work online as well. Yeah.
So yeah, we should use it because that works. Okay.
So 2 questions from me. And the first one, who will score in the final from France team?
France, of course.
Yeah, I mean the player. And the second question, Indiegogo has launched like the platform for equity crowdfunding, maybe last year. Were there any like successful launches?
I have to admit I don't really follow the equity because it's for only US-based startups, and I'm in charge of Europe. So I'm not, and I'm already overwhelmed with how much work I have. My weeks are 70 hours a week, so or 60. But so no, I haven't been really following. I know we have a very, very good success rate on equity crowdfunding. Also because on the crowdfunding reward base, we are an open platform. We don't do curation. Anybody can come and create a campaign on Indiegogo, as long as it doesn't go against our terms of services. There is no issue there. For equity, we are doing actually a lot of curation, and you need already. It's not for early stage startup. You already need to generate cash in order to revenue, in order to run a campaign in equity on Indiegogo. But we have a pretty high success rate. I think I don't remember, but I think it was close to 100% of the campaigns succeed in equity.
Thanks.
Okay, we have some more questions. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
One more question about video. Some call it an option, some call it like rule. And the meaning is that in video, product should be shown in the first 30 seconds. What do you think about it? Not later.
I think it's true. The thing is, you need to catch your audience, for me, within the 10 first seconds, and there is only so much you can keep as a mystery for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, that starts to be a little bit like, okay, you come to the point. So that's, I would say that yes, the earlier you can start to build on the excitement, but yeah, the product needs to come early on. Like I saw a campaigner sent me a video yesterday of a teaser, and when I looked at the video at the beginning, I thought it was for a bike, and it's just toward the end of the teaser that is 30 seconds, but it's only toward the end that I understood that it was for another product that goes for bikes. But so and I was telling him, you need to change your potentially not, you don't have to redo the full video, but the image, the text you have in the video of the teaser needs to come a lot earlier in order for people to not be mistaken in or expecting something different, because it's a little bit deceptive where you watch a video and you think it's for something and finally it's for something different, So that's why the product or what's about the product needs to come early on in the video.
Pascal, first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you, Conceptor, for organizing this event. It's a very cool thing that this is happening, and a lot of people are interested in that. I've been following campaigns for the past couple of years, and what I saw is that there's a lot of campaigns being live today. Like a couple of years ago, it was like 500 campaigns per day. Now it's like thousands of campaigns. Now, regarding the backers, is the amount of backers growing as well, or is it dropping? Because I know there's a lot of people that got disappointed from crowdfunding campaigns. So from the side of the backers, is it a growing community or is it not? Or is it like stable? Thanks.
For what I know, I would say it's constant or either growing, not maybe as big as before, for the reasons you've mentioned. There is more maybe now a trust issue in backing projects. But that's why also I think there has been a lot of maturation around crowdfunding, at least for the time I've spent on Indiegogo. The campaigns coming onto the platform, that's what I advise, at least, is don't run your crowdfunding campaign until you are at the industrial prototype. Because you are going to go into production, you always have surprise because for X, Y reasons, the electronic component is not available, or something always happen, and the timing you had hope is always delayed, and that means unhappy backers because you said you'll be delivering in November, but comes to January and the product is still not there, and you have to deal with a community that is unhappy, which I don't recommend. So if you are not at the industrial prototype, you're going to even have more surprise, because usually in between the prototype and the industrial prototype, there is a gap, and you have, you are better placed than me to talk about it, but that's why I think we've seen the campaigns coming now on crowdfunding are more mature than previously, where there was still a lot of concept or very early prototype. You were managing to get a functioning prototype to be able to film it and launch your campaign, but very far from having the final one.
Okay, so there is like a trust problem right now. And should we build trust, like showing our team on the video, in the main page, or it's not so important?
No, and yes, in the story of the crowdfunding campaign, but not on the video, because I don't think showing the team really brings trust in supporting the campaign. Having it in the video doesn't. You are wasting your message around the product and the excitement. You need to have it on the story, on the page, but not in the video. But for me, it's better to show a functioning product and potentially having on the page of the campaign people saying, "Oh, I was a beta tester and I tried the product." Like that, there is a functioning product that people have tried, so it brings a lot more trust than just
showing the team.
Video. Yeah.
Cool. There are some more questions, I guess. So, last question. No questions? Okay, so we're just like 1 hour accurate, just 45 minutes and 15 minutes for questions.
Wonderful.
So yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming,
Thank
Pascal.
you, Vlad, for having me.
Yeah, also we have a small announcement. Yeah, actually tomorrow is a deadline for our product idea accelerator. And if you have a great idea, project, product, you should apply. There is actually a startup, Nuka, probably some of you heard about. You can ask how our accelerator is like working, whether they liking our accelerator or not, and probably they'll say some good words about us. So yeah, if you have some cool idea, you can apply. So we'll provide like $2,000 to validate your idea and $20,000 investments in your product and helping you launch your project on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Yeah, and also, yeah, you've heard that you need this business card of this guy because he will help you to promote your project on Indiegogo. So just keep doing networking after the end of this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And just one announcement, like we're going to continue our webinar sessions, so we're really welcoming you to join our next webinar with Austin Kibble. He is designer, has a great experience in UX, so just stay tuned. We're going to post a lot of things online, so thank you so much for coming.
Thanks. Cool.